what are the things you do to mitigate the risk of having hundreds of gallons of water on your floor from leaks or glass failure? This is the #1 fear I have about graduating to bigger tanks. Let me tell you something right now, Nighthawk. It's every aquarium hobbyist fear. It's all of our fear. You see those tanks? If those things leak or burst or bust, it's a wrap. All my stuff, it's a wrap.
It's all over, JD. Help me stop it.
I mean, what can you do? There's nothing you could do really. If the tank cracks or leaks, and let's say you're not home at the moment to stop it or do something about it, it's every aquarist fear. We have to live with that fear. So I wouldn't buy no weird off-name brand tanks, because, especially big tanks, because that could happen. Go with you know, the guys that've been in the hobby, in the industry for years and years and years, and you'll sleep a tiny bit better at night. What causes microbubbles? How to get rid of them? Thanks. Okay, first of all, I have a whole video on microbubbles, so after this, go check out that video. But microbubbles can be caused by a couple of things. One could be your connections to your hoses. Well, I'm assuming that you have a canister filter. If you have a canister filter where your hoses go into the tank, there's a connection right there where you connect the plastic to the hose. If that connection is not fully submerged underwater, air can get in there, go into your filter, and it'll spit out microbubbles. If you don't have a canister filter, another way that it could happen with any filter is if you have a bubbler or an air stone or a sponge filter, something like that, too close to your filter's intake, the intake will suck in those air bubbles, and again, go through your filter, spit it right back out, whatever output it is. Even if it's a HOB, those little oxygen bubbles will come right out of your HOB. So make sure of that. I have one FX6 filter on my 125-gallon tank. When is the time that I should add a second FX6 filter? That depends on how many fish you got, how big they are, how good your maintenance is. But I'll tell you this, if your water is staying crystal clear and your water parameters are always in check, meaning no spikes, and you're able to just do your scheduled maintenance at a decent schedule, not like crazy amount of maintenance, then there really is no reason to add another one. Guess what? On my 150-gallon tank, with my American cichlids, 2 big, huge Oscars, and arowana that's growing like wildfire, I've only got one FX6 on there. And guess what? The water stays crystal clear. And like I said, I do my weekly maintenance on it, just like my other tank. And I have no reason to add another FX6. You would think that on a 150-gallon tank, you'd need more than one FX6. Most people do. I was going to do that. I realized, hey, my water's staying clean and clear, and I don't have no spikes, and everything is good. So let me let this rock for as long as I can and see what happens. Well, guess what? To this day, only one FX6 on there, guys. Joseph says, I have a 75 with a turtle and some other tiger barbs. Can't get the ammonia to drop using the FX4 with carbon and ammonia remover and stability and prime. It's been 2 months. What should I do? First of all, your FX4 and the carbon is not going to help with reducing your ammonia. Did you say ammonia? Can't get the ammonia to drop. Yes. So those 2 things aren't going to help your ammonia. What you need is to have bacteria in your tank. So something is not allowing for your beneficial bacteria to grow. Ammonia remover. Your ammonia remover, Joseph, is probably your culprit. Like I mentioned already a few times earlier, you do not want to remove the ammonia while your tank is cycling. I know that sounds counterintuitive, guys, but it is the answer. That's why you are continuing to get ammonia in your tank, because your ammonia remover is removing it, not allowing your tank to cycle, and then your fish are just exerting ammonia right back into the tank all over again. So stop with the ammonia remover. Go with prime and stability only. No more ammonia remover. Stop doing water changes, because I know you are, Joseph. Stop doing water changes. Prime and stability daily, and just wait until you reach 40 parts per million nitrates. Don't do anything else to your tank, and your tank will get cycled. I've had my goldfish for about 2 years, and I've been checking nitrates, and my tank hasn't gone past 0. Really? And I don't know what to do. My tank isn't squeaky clean either. Nitrite is 0, nitrate 0. I don't know what to do. That sounds very, very incorrect.
Incorrect. Identification.
Either you're doing the test wrong or your test kit that you're using is expired, but something's not right. There's no way. And goldfish are very, very dirty fish. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that they poop a lot. There's no way that you're gonna have 0 nitrates in a tank for 2 years. What I suggest right off the bat, take a sample of your water fortnight and take it over to your local fish store. They'll be able to test that water for you and they'll give you an accurate reading of what's going on in your tank. And if their readings are different from yours, then you know that something you're doing is not right. I have a bunch of videos on using the API Master Test Kit. You can search that up on YouTube and check that video out, just in case you might be doing the test wrong. Eddie Perez says, I got a Tidal 55 on my 20-gallon tank. That good? Yes, absolutely. I have recommended the Tidal many times, way before. So don't think that because I'm a brand ambassador now is why I'm going to say this. But I truly believe that the Tidal is one of the best HOBs on the market for multiple reasons. It's an awesome HOB. If you got the Tidal 55 on a 20, should be good to go, bro. How long have you made this your hobby? Well, I've been in the hobby since I was a kid, so that's one thing. But I won't count all those years. You know, I didn't know what I was doing when I was a kid. As an adult, I think I started the hobby somewhere either 2014, 2015, something like that. So I got a few years since my adult hobby started, and I started with African cichlids pretty much maybe like a few months after getting back into the hobby. I started with some regular tropical fish and then very quickly switched over to African cichlids. But I hope that answers your question. David says, hi Kevin, can you talk a little bit about the best way to handle an ick outbreak? Well, sure. When you have an ick outbreak in your tank, there are many things you can use. They have Ick X. Ick X is a great product that will eliminate that ick. Aquarium salt. You can use aquarium salt to fight off that ick. Or if you don't want to use any medications or any other products like that, a very natural way to eliminate ick is to raise your temperature in your tank. If you raise the temperature in your tank gradually, obviously not immediately, but gradually raise it to about 86, 88, somewhere around there, that's going to speed up the life cycle of the ick and make it fall off your fish. Now, when the ick falls off your fish, no matter what method you use, you have to make sure to vacuum your substrate, because what happens is they'll fall off your fish, but I guess it's like those little eggs or whatever they are still in your substrate, and then they'll just reattach themselves to your fish. So you gotta get them off your fish and then vacuum your substrate to get it out. There is an awesome article in the Facebook group written by my man Jeff Thompson. Jeff Thompson is a veteran in the hobby, knows what he's talking about. Check out the Facebook group. Go to the files, and there's a whole article on exactly step-by-step what to do with ick. Jake McNeil Film says, how long should someone change a sponge filter with a replacement one? Jake, I don't think you ever need to replace a sponge filter, bro, to be honest. There's really no need for it. It's just like the media that's inside your canister or inside your HOB or inside your sump. You don't ever really want to replace your media. Your sponge filter is kind of like media. But all you need to do is periodically, on a schedule, clean the sponge filter. You get a bucket of tank water, take your sponge filter out of the tank, squeeze it out in the bucket of tank water. It'll release all the dirt. The water will get mucky and brown and nasty, but it's releasing everything that it has trapped in the sponge, and then put the sponge filter right back in your tank. The same exact sponge filter, because it has beneficial bacteria on that sponge. So you don't want to throw that media away. So don't ever replace your sponge filter. Bigger is Better says, I want to buy a 90-gallon tank from Facebook Marketplace. Seller said he used it for reptile tank. Would you recommend I buy it and use as an aquarium? You got to be cautious with anything that you buy in the Facebook Marketplace. You can use a reptile tank that was a reptile tank in the past, but here's my suggestion. Go check out the tank. Do a leak test, bro. Fill that thing up with water, at least halfway with water. Wait for 20-30 minutes and make sure that it's not leaking from anywhere. And then you'll be safe to buy it. Don't buy that thing off of the marketplace without doing a leak test. Thomas says, if I put some media into my cycle tank in a net for a week, and then transfer it into my new filter in my new tank, will that help to speed up the cycle too? It may help, yes. Now, media sitting in your tank, it will grow beneficial bacteria because all the surfaces in your tank grow beneficial bacteria, but it won't grow that much. Will it grow enough to help in your new filter, in your new tank? It possible. Even if you do that, and it helps you only a little bit, the answer would be add your stability and add your prime if you're getting any ammonia readings at all. If you're not getting any ammonia readings at all, that will mean that that media that you put in your new filter is working for your new tank, right? But then it depends how many fish you add into the new tank. Are you just taking your actual current stock, the same number, into the new tank? Or are you adding more? Because if you're adding more, then you need even more beneficial bacteria, way more than what has grown in the media that you put in your tank. We have a membership here on KaveMan Aquatics. If you decide to support the channel with your membership, you get a couple of extra perks. The Tank Boss levels, we do members only live streams twice a month, just like this, but a much smaller group of us, and I get to everybody's question, and we have a lot of fun. So if you feel like you want to support the channel membership is the way to do it.